I've realized a lot of business owners don't do is that they don't do personal reading about business. The Personal MBA is an amazing book that teaches you the fundamentals of business and lays the groundwork for all of the things that you need to go out and study about in business. So let's start off with the first one, which is start with value creation. Every single thing in business is all about value. It's an exchange of value. It's an exchange of goods and services for money. So you have to make sure that whatever you're selling is valuable. If you sell something that is low value, chances are that you're going to make a low amount of money from that. And if you charge something that is high value, then you will make more money from that. And value is not something that you can just quickly whip up and just know, okay, this is valuable based on a technician mindset or somebody who is skilled in the area thinking that they know exactly what is valuable. Sometimes that is true, but most of the times, to hit the nail on the head, what you need to do is to understand what your client's needs and wants are. So when you do what is called target audience research, you will get to understand all of what your customers are struggling with. Because business is solving problems. You're solving the problems for your customers. And if you solve a lot of problems, meaning it's extremely valuable, then you will make a killing in business. So that's the first thing. Get to understand what they need or what they want. And then whatever you're building and creating, make sure that it is fulfilling those needs and wants of your customers. Make sure that it is solving their most painful problems. For every one of these topics, I also want to just suggest one book that could go along with it. One book that could go for this in terms of value creation is Alex Hormozi's $100 Million Offer. Amazing book. It will teach you fundamentally how you're supposed to create value in whatever you do, whether it's a product, a service, content, whatever it is, you should be creating valuable content, valuable products, valuable service for your clients. Now, the next one is the marketing fundamentals. Marketing fundamentals is extremely important because a lot of people do actions and they think that it is marketing, but it is not necessarily marketing. Now, marketing is getting to understand how your products and services benefit your customers and you communicating that value properly. Now, a lot of people think that they know how to communicate it. Wow, we have this gizmo and it has these features, it has this feature, it has these features, and that is not one of the best ways how to communicate value. One of the best ways to communicate value to your customers is talking about the problems that it is solving for them. One of the most important things that I got to understand about marketing when I was on my learning journey for it is that it's not about you. It's not about showing them how amazing your product is. It's really and truly showing your customers how you're going to help them. Look at your customers and look at the problems that they're having and bring up those problems in your communication efforts. And when you bring up those problems, talk in depth about how your product will change those efforts. This is a simple exercise between features and benefits. It's a very well-known thing now, I would assume. But there are tons of other topics that are talked about in marketing and how you can communicate value and actually develop a bond with your customers. Marketing is not necessarily about making money. Marketing is one, getting known. So that is about awareness. And two, it is about building trust and rapport with your customer. Getting to understand which customers are interested in actually pulling the trigger, like they actually want specialized help or they are actually interested in buying a product from your company. They're interested in actually fixing the problem. That is the goal of marketing. A lot of people get this mixed up, but we have a video discussing the marketing and sales funnel, how marketing and sales share this bond between each other. And sometimes people think that in marketing, you need to be selling to your customers. That's not necessarily the case. In marketing, you need to be showing your customers how you are capable of solving their problems through solving small problems for them, whether it's through content or giving them free consultations and trying to help them to even discover that they have a problem, because majority of your audience normally don't even know that they have a problem that you can fix. So how can you even fix a problem that your customers don't even know they have? So marketing, it's all about communication, building rapport with your customers, and identifying the customers that really want to fix the problem. Now in sales, this is where the efforts that you place in marketing actually show up. This is where you actually make money. However, if you fall short on marketing, you'll definitely fall short on sales. Because in marketing, you're supposed to be building trust and rapport with your customers, fixing small problems for them, letting them understand you, showing them credibility, your testimonials, all of that type of stuff. In sales, this is where you start to get one-on-one with the client. You start to build even deeper rapport with the client. However, a certain level must already be established in the marketing efforts. Now in sales, this is all about conversion. Do things that will cause the person to actually pull the trigger. You identify the persons who are interested. Now it's time to ask the question, are you ready to pull the trigger now? And if they aren't ready now, you need to find all of the reasons why they aren't ready now. Is it money? Is it too expensive? Do you believe that this is not going to bring you a return on your investment? And how to communicate stuff like that. A lot of people also, when they don't understand marketing and sales, they tend to give out a lot of discounts. And when you start to study about marketing and sales, you start to understand that this is called the grand race to zero. When you have something that might be, yes, valuable and really good to your customers, but because you keep thinking that it's all about price, you need to start charging less, discount, you will make your product psychologically less valuable. And stuff like that will be taught to you when you start to read more about this. In marketing, a really good book to learn about marketing is Contagious. You also have the one-page marketing plan. Really good books that are touching on the fundamentals of marketing. And as it relates to sales, there's really one book that I want every person in sales to read, and it is The Ultimate Sales Machine. It's an amazing book, and I highly recommend that book. Now let's move on to value delivery. Value delivery is much different than value creation. Now, creating value is one thing. This is something that, yes, you have to go out to your customers and you have to make sure that you know what they want, and then you create something that is going to solve what they want or need. Now, in value delivery, this is how you give them that value. In other words, this is called the customer experience. This is something that you must craft. And some of the people who have nailed this down the best is Disney. When you look at Disney's park, every single thing from you enter the park, every single thing that you could possibly think of doing has already been thought out. It's all thought out, and you need to provide that experience from your customers. Get to know who you are, seeing your social media platforms or however channels you're using to reach them. You need to make provisions for, wow, so this is how our customers are looking at us. You need to identify, wow, okay, this is how our customers look at us. All right, what's next? What's next if they are interested in our products or services? How do we introduce our products or services to them? How exactly do we then try to book a one-on-one call with them? What are the questions that we ask with them? How exactly do we close the sale? From the moment your customers know about you, see something from you, and they're on your page, they're starting to get to know you, to all of the way to the end where they've made a purchase and you're going to continue to do business with them for the long term, must all be thought out. And this is all about value delivery. And this also really is about making sure that the customer has a good experience when they're going through this marketing and sales funnel. This is very important, and a lot of people don't get the gist of this. A really good book for this was written by the guys who did Zappos. They did the shoe company Zappos. They did the book Delivering Happiness. It's an amazing book that shows you that, hey, if you put the customer first, if you make the customer feel good every single time, then everything will sort itself out. So value delivery is all about your customers feeling good, the customer experience, and that is something that you need to study and you need to nail it down. It doesn't just fall into place. It doesn't just happen. With business, every single thing that you do, you have to go and study about it. You have to put it into place, because it doesn't just happen. These things don't just happen out of luck. It's all thought out, and you have to be intentional with your actions with business. Now, the next topic that they touch on is financial management. A lot of business owners don't know how to handle money, and this can make or break the business. Understanding to keep a full expense record and an income record. This is just so basic, and a lot of business owners don't do this. Even content creators who are running businesses, you're getting brand deals, you're having sponsors in your videos, and you're not keeping track of your expenses and all of your income to understand whether or not you're profitable or you're taking a loss. And okay, if you're taking a loss, then okay, how exactly can you create more money and not spend a lot of expenses? Or how exactly can you bring your expenses down? Getting to understand basic financial statements an income sheet, an expense sheet, a journal. All of these type of things are basic things that all business owners need to understand. You can't just, oh, I'm gonna get an accountant and an accountant will sort every single thing out. Yes, an accountant is really helpful, but how can you manage someone if you know nothing about their job? That is a very key point here. You need to understand the financial structures of business, because if you don't, then you're driving blind here. The next thing that you need to touch on is the human mind. Buyer psychology is a big thing. Understanding price structures, price systems, all these type of things come in here. A really good book for the human mind is Influence. Oh my God, this book is so good. It was recommended to me by another YouTuber. I was watching a YouTube video and they recommended this book. I read the book and the book changed my life. It shows you subtle things that happen in the buyer world or in the business owner's minds. Because as a business owner, your beliefs are then brought out in your actions. So if you have certain belief structures that are blocking your success from business, you're very much not going to see it unless you go look for it. And I'm telling you right now, if you've never read a book about business, there are tons of limiting beliefs that are stopping you from closing tons of sales. And these are things that you need to study. Influence, really good book. They teach you about the human mind, buyer psychology, how a customer thinks. It's not just, oh, whether I have money in my pocket or not. It's not whether I have enough money to buy this item or not. No, it's not that simple. If it was that simple, I promise you everybody would be successful in business. All you'd have to do is just sell to rich people. That's it. But that's not the case. You have to understand how the human mind works. The human mind, like any other animal, there are patterns. There are things that are predictable with the human mind. I'm just giving an example here. If you chase something, naturally it will run away. If you try to chase a buyer, naturally the buyer will run away. If you try to attract something, if you put a nice beautiful flower on the outside and it is full of pollen, most likely that thing is going to attract bees, and bees are going to come there. And that is one of the most powerful, simple buyer belief or just mental structures that you need to understand. If you keep chasing customers, you're going to run out of breath. That's when you're going to get tired of that. You're not going to enjoy the business any at all. And people are going to run away from you because they're going to be like, hey, if things are going well for this person, why exactly are they running me down? Why exactly are they chasing me for this sale? Yeah, you need to understand also how to attract. What's the psychology behind attracting people to want to buy from you? All of these things need to be studied. The book Influence will help you with this. You don't need to look any further. And the last one is working with yourself and others. Now, this is big because a lot of people don't know how to work with themselves. They simply say, yo, I just need to get somebody for this role. And then they get somebody for the role and then they don't know how to delegate properly. Because if you yourself, this is coming from me, a small business owner who has to start doing business, every single thing I have to do it by myself. I have to find a way how to do it. I have to educate myself and then do it myself, right? And that's how I started out before I started to hire people. And that gave me a lot of insight. When you just hire someone, first of all, you're going to be paying an exorbitant amount of money for low quality work because you don't know how to distinguish high quality work from low quality work. As well as when you're just trying to find somebody to fill a position, you're most likely just going to be price shopping. You're just going to be looking for the cheapest person who is selling the cheapest thing to get the job done. And you don't know if that person who is selling that cheap thing, if it's actually valuable. Is it actually doing you good? And that just simple things like this, you need to understand how to delegate. And working with yourself, meaning you need to learn how to manage your time. Everybody gets only 24 hours, but somehow business owners are able to do tons more than the people who are not making a lot of money. These people who are very successful, like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, how exactly are they able to get that much value out of their time? How are they able to build these massive companies when, as a simple business owner, it seems as if it's taking your entire life to just make a few chum change, a few bucks to just get things off the ground? So you need to learn time management. You need to learn how to delegate. I'm going to assume that you're a small business owner or just somebody who is getting into business. Then I would suggest the book Deep Work. That book changed my life. I learned how valuable time is and learned about focus and learned about rest lead to burnout. We're just working so hard and then eventually we're just like, oh, I'm so tired, I can't do this anymore. When really and truly you have have people who are spending less time doing the work and they're doing way more than you and they're resting, and then they can do that pattern for the rest of their lives or for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years straight, building, compounding on all of that work. When you're struggling, you're pushing everything, you're pushing all cylinders, you're going all out for maybe about a year or two, and then you're burnt out and you can't produce at that level again. You just feel like it's not worth it, but it is. This thing called business is a long-term journey. The Personal MBA, I highly recommend you read that book. It changed my life, and it shows you that, hey, as a regular person who never went to business school, you need to read this book. You can do it. You can become successful in business without going to business school. As well as they also touch on certain points to say that the person who wrote the book, he's called Josh Kaufman, he went to business school, he did get his MBA, and he realized that it's not necessarily tailored to people who are just getting into business and know nothing about business. All of the things that we spoke about here, all of these things are things that should be taught to every business owner, but it's not necessarily done when you go to college for business. They'll teach you how to run massive businesses as if everybody who is about to graduate is going to become a CEO. But if you want to tomorrow just start a business in something that you're really passionate about or really skilled about, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna have a lot of roadblocks and things that you never heard of before or even knew. If someone just told you, you would know. They're telling you, and it's in this book and it's in all the other books that I recommended. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you read these books, and not just read these books, also get the actions done. Every time you read a book that I recommend, you make sure that you do every single thing that the book suggests, because if you read the book and then do nothing out of the book, you're no better than the person who didn't read the book.